about falling out of love tonight, guys. Tough topic, but somebody's got to cover it. Why? Because it happens in every damn marriage. That's why people are getting divorced. You fall out of love. It's the most natural thing in the world, I promise. I'm going to help y'all understand it tonight. I got to get that done. Guys, it's natural. Don't worry. You gonna fall out of love. Everybody falls out of love. I was shocked when it happened to me. I was like, I thought it was a fantasy. I thought marriage was supposed to be a fantasy. I was mad as hell. I was mad, y'all. So we're going to talk about that tonight. The transition. Say you'll never let me go. We're going to talk about that transition, y'all, between being in love and then needing to move to something else. But nobody taught us what that thing is. Nobody told us what to do when you fall out of love with your husband, out of love with your wife. Men try to act like they don't go through this. Yes, they do. And they talk to other men about it. We've seen it. We've seen it now. We've seen it on the internet and the interwebs. In the men's secret conversation, they're like, I don't even like my wife. Well, guess what? Women feel the same way when this transition happens that none of us are prepared for. None of us are prepared for this. I was not prepared for this. Like, I had no idea that this was going to happen. So tonight we're going to talk about the entire process, the transition between being in love and moving into unconditional love, which only very few people make it over to that side, baby. But when you do, I'm going to tell you what happens over there on that side. Okay. You guys know me. And I'm telling you all relationships, don't get on here. If anybody can get on here and debate me tonight and tell me, oh, no, this is not true. I've been married 30 years and I'm still deeply in romantic love with my husband, deeply in romantic love with my wife. I want you to get on this live and tell me about it, because I don't believe you. Okay? Because what I'm talking about is nature. I'm not talking about Kenya K. Stevens' opinion or none of that. And so we'll get into this tonight. You know, all relationships will change. You know, why is that? I'm going to tell you why. There's a specific reason as to why that is. Also, how to deal with that. All right. Put a yes in the chat if you have gone through this in your relationship before. You've been in love. You want to be making love every day. You just wanted to be drinking this person bath water. And then a few years later, you're like, and you think you've fallen out of love. But that's actually not the case. We're going to talk about it tonight. Y'all know me. My name is Kenya K. Stevens. I'm CEO here at Progressive Love Academy. I'm also star of Seeking Brother Husband on TLC. As well, I'm the founder of Divorce Proof Club, and I've recently founded an app. The name is Metamore. All right. I help couples who are married 5 years or more to make this transition. Because making this transition from being in love to unconditional love is the key to long-term relationships. Okay. Oh, I hear some yeses. Jay Gandy said yes. Sincerely, Shawnee said yes. Also, Kelsier said yes. So we got some experienced folks on the line. Okay. So if I need some backup, hopefully y'all will help me tonight as we move through this topic. Somebody's asking a question. They said, how does one convince you though? I agree relationships change, but I am madly in love with my husband, equally as when I met him 22 years ago. I find myself more in love with him each change that comes. Well, baby, wait a minute. You have unconditional love for your husband because you're comfortable with change. That's one of the keys in unconditional love. So we're going to talk about that difference, okay? I'm not saying you don't feel nothing for your partner. I'm saying that you've obviously made it to the other side. I love my husband more and more every day at year 30, but it's unconditional. It's unconditional. There's nothing my husband can do to make me leave him. There's nothing. None of them. There's nothing they can do to make me leave them. That's unconditional love. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's get into this because, it's hard without the right tools. And it usually happens at like the 7-year hump. For some people, it happens earlier. For some people, it happens later. Okay, so let's just talk about for a minute what it is to be in love. Because you all remember that experience the last time you felt in love, that high dopamine, high oxytocin, high serotonin. It's like it's just buzzing all around you. It's like you're in love with the projected idea of this person because you don't know them yet. Love at first sight. It was love at first sight. It's infatuation. It's fueled by like this novelty, this newness. I know because I get new dick all the time. I know the feeling of having that dopamine rush, that oxytocin rush, that serotonin rush, right? It's like if I kiss my husband on day 1 and then kiss him on day 30, it's a different kiss. It's fueled by different emotions. It's fueled by different chemicals in the brain. This is not a choice. This is in the brain, right? It can feel like obsession. Urgency. I remember, when I first met Tiger, I wanted to just be touching his skin all the time. Like I just had to be all up under him all the time. That's what this in love period does. Okay. Jay Gandhi is saying that for him, it happened around year 10. Okay. Jack said, yes, exactly. The truth is love changes more so. Yeah. The experience that you're having in the relationship changes. That's natural. But nobody warned me. My mother didn't tell me this. My father didn't tell me this. Movies don't tell us this. How are you supposed to prepare for that? A lot of people get divorced at year 7 after the 7-year hump because they did not know that these dopamine, every time you lay down and make love, that dopamine level, the next time you make love is not going back up to the top. It's going to go right here. Then the next time you make love, it's not going right here. It's going to go right here. And this happens slowly over time to where now you're having sex and it's just regular. It's like regular degular. It's like, what happened? You know what I mean? And then you think, well, let me go on vacation. And yes, that adds some of the oxytocin back up because you're in a different environment. Let me wear some new panties. Well, let me put on something to watch on watch some other people having lovemaking, that we watch on the internet. I can't say the word because that's what my mother told me. I said, Mom, he doesn't even want to have sex with me anymore. We're only at year 2. He doesn't really he's not on me no more. And she was like, well, put on some corn and that will get his energy back up. I was like, what? I was shocked. When my mother told me this, I could not believe she said this. And that was her only advice. And it did not help. A, because we didn't really watch corn like that. And B, because it just wasn't sustainable. It didn't bring everything back that was there. I know it was there. I felt it. And it did not bring it back. And this was so depressing for me. I was thinking to myself, I was at like year 5. I was like, am I really going to do this? Like, how can I do this? This man is not giving it up. He's not giving it up no more. And he's not excited about me anymore. I was like, damn, did I gain weight? Did I lose weight? Like, I thought, without any instruction, you think it's something wrong with you. And I know that men go through this as well, right? Put a yes if you in the chat, and man, do y'all go through this? Because he couldn't explain to me why he didn't want to be intimate anymore, like all the time. It wasn't something we talked about. I think it was embarrassing for him. And I think men probably must feel very embarrassed when they're just like, oh, no, like, get off me. Like, I'm going to sleep, How embarrassing not to be prepared for something this natural. How embarrassing. Because I felt like my husband felt like his manhood was challenged. And when I would ask for it and he didn't feel like it, I felt like his manhood was challenged. You know what I mean? And it started getting us into fights and arguments because I felt unwanted. And he felt like I was forcing, like I'm pressuring him. It was like his manhood didn't even work the same way after a certain time. I'm like, what is wrong? So we went to therapy. We went to counselors. I was like 25. This was like in 1998. We did not know what to do, and they couldn't help us. But none of them told us that this is perfectly natural. They put us on a schedule. They were like, well, you guys need to do it 3 times a week. Set it on the schedule. What? I don't know if anybody else went through this. I was just blown away, and I panicked. I felt like, what I'm supposed to do this for the next 80 years with this man? Somebody said affection is appreciated, but it actually kind of becomes annoying because we're focused on keeping the roof over our heads after like 6 months or more of living together. I understand that, but I felt like it's deeper than that. But yes, like, I validate your feeling that men in this society feel like they have all this pressure to provide. That's terrible. I don't understand why we keep that. First of all, that's a patriarchal view that men are providers. But I will do that topic another time. In my view, every human is a provider. I don't understand the problem. Like, why would we think that? And then secondarily, the monetary system is fake. It's not set up in a humane way. So there's no win here. Capitalism isn't about a win for anyone. Okay, I know the richest people still scared that they're going to lose it all. So this is not a setup for that. None of my men feel like I'm on them talking about provide and do this. That's not my game. We're all providers, and our lovemaking should build money, the energy, the chi. Chi is my provider. Chi is my provider. Okay, so I definitely empathize with you. So being in love, right? That high chemical compound, what do we do about the fact that it is temporary? And that most people, unlike the young lady who spoke earlier, most people feel some sense of failure when that starts to wane. And they feel like either I'm not attractive, the person doesn't love me anymore, I don't love them anymore, maybe I've fallen out of love. Instead of truly learning and understanding what's actually happening. So the brain chemistry, we understood what actually happened. That brain chemistry is going down. Why? Here's the kicker for the night. Why would humans be set up like this? Why? Why are humans set up like this? There's a reason. It's very specific. It's very specific as to why we don't stay in love. It's called the bonding phase. We're in a bonding phase. That high oxytocin, that high dopamine, that high serotonin. It's a bonding phase. But that bonding phase is meant to bond us with that person. And then what? What's next? Who knows the reason? Why do we crash out after several years with one person? Who knows the reason? I'll give you a hint. Do you all want a hint? Put a yes in the chat if you want a hint. Put a yes in the chat if you want a hint. Do you want to guess? Or do you just want me to tell you? It's very specific. We crash out after that bonding phase. Okay, he said yes, he want a hint. Here's the hint, and then maybe you can guess before I tell you. The hint is human beings do not have fangs or claws. So how do we survive in nature? Yes, the bonding phase ends, but why does the bonding phase end, Jack? That's what I'm asking. Why would a bonding phase ever end? Why is our nature set up like that? And here's the hint. We do not have claws and we do not have fangs. Yes! Community! You got it! We survive as humans because of community. So if we bonded with one, like a monogamous species, like gibbons, if we bonded with one and that bonding phase was never ending, like monogamous species, their bonding phase is never ending. And they don't need community to survive. Gibbons are monkeys who live in trees. One tree is for two monkeys and their children. They do not come off the tree to hang out with the other gibbons and their children. They don't need to. They got claws. They can climb the tree. They got the right type of teeth to eat the right type of things. They don't need community. Every monogamous species, only 4% of mammals are monogamous. Every monogamous species are non-communal. They live in burrows. They live in trees, just with their family unit. And they put the babies out when the babies it's time to go make their own family. Humans don't do that. Humans need community to survive. So, of course, the bonding phase is going to be short. Why? Because we have to go bond with more people in order to create community. If not, we die. We die. How do you think prior to buildings that we existed in the forest with tigers and lions and leopards and cheetahs and panthers? Around the clock community, lighting a fire. Somebody else is getting the water while somebody else does the gardening, while somebody else goes hunting, while somebody else is watching babies, while somebody else is building pots. That's how we survive. And that's still how we survive. You didn't eat today because you cooked. Your children didn't go to school today because you have a school. You didn't get gasoline today because you got gas. You have a oil rig. You didn't get your car because you built a car. We survive because of community. And so the bonding phase in humans has to end so that we will bond with more people. But the people that we bonded with switches. Here's the kicker. It switches from being in love, if we're successful, to being unconditional love with that person. Who here got a baby mama? A baby daddy? At some point you bonded with that person. You was going raw. You bonded with them. What you didn't do, right, but probably in some way you have, is move to the unconditional love phase. Every man would say, yeah, I'll always love my baby mama. That's unconditional love. Some women say, I'll always love my baby daddy. Unconditional. How do I know it's unconditional? Because they are bonding with other people and you're cool with that. Right? They're living their own life. They're not under your control being in love. Control being in love. That's in love. They're under my control right now. I'm possessive of them. I need this. They got to be who I want them to be. Oh, my hormones is going crazy. You know, you moved from that to something else. And that is the path of all humans. Because that's how we survive. Is this making sense? Put a yes in the chat if it's making sense. If you have questions before we move into how to make this transition. Because this is what I do in Divorce Proof Club. These couples are divorcing for no reason. Except they're trying to prolong the being in love. And it's so painful and they can't do it. Now they cheating because their nature is telling them to go bond with somebody else. Men and women, don't play with me on this live tonight and tell me about what men do this and men need this and men. Are you serious right now? All humans have this wiring to bond and be an unconditional. Bond and be an unconditional. Bond and be an unconditional. Bringing all those people together. This is human. If you think that this is just men, then you're saying that only men need community. Women can exist in the wild by herself. And then when people tell me, oh no, women are just trying to get the strongest, richest, fastest, that's a lie. There's no sane woman who knows that we're in the wild who would only choose one person to be in community with. What if that person dies? There goes your community. There's no woman. It's not even biologically, it's not even biologically smart. The body wouldn't choose that. You're going to want as much community as you need. You have a baby. Why do they trip y'all up and then y'all be having memes and be talking about what men want? There's no woman who would biologically, her body would never choose to depend on one person. Ever. Who gonna debate me? Where's my damn fan? I lose my fan all the time. Y'all got me. Oh, I can't find my fan. Anyway, who gonna debate me? All right, let me read these comments. All right. He said, my aunt used to say all the time, you can't control who loves you. Absolutely not. Peace. Somebody said peace, Empress. Yeah, this is the highest level of living and thriving that I'm trying to share. I'm sharing that we're not in our natural environment. We have people fighting against what's most natural and most sustainable for humans. All right, so let's move into how to make this transition, because what happens when the transition starts? Here's how you know the transition is starting. From being in love to it's time to go get more community. Right? We cannot be isolated because we are a communal species. The body will not let you do it. The body, the mind, the hormones will not allow it. That's called self-preservation. Okay? So the transition start happening when you get real triggered. The triggers are heightened. Remember when you were in love, you would be triggered, but it's like, oh, it's okay, baby. Blah, blah, blah. It's okay, baby. You start getting real triggered. You don't want to put up with no bullshit. You're mad as hell. And then the illusion starts to fade because the drugs are gone. The person stinks, they not the same, that you notice they don't shower, or you notice they not clean, you're like, what the fuck? You think, oh, I must not be in love anymore. You're starting to have thoughts of like, can I do this forever? Like, forever? And these are all signs that it's time for you to take that journey. And it should be a conscious journey, but in the West, it's not. In the West, it's called, we about to fight and blow up this family. We about to go at it. I'm going to take you to the state. I'm going to take you to child support. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to cheat on you. I'm not happy at home. It turns into that, and it's nobody's fault. It's not men's fault that they are following biology. It's not women's fault that we are following biology. We're just doing it on the underside. See, men are external with it, like go cheat, go do this, do da-da-da, withdraw, da-da-da-da-da. Well, we're passive aggressive. We might cheat on a down low. We are, sabotaging shit because we mad and triggered. And there's nobody to say, here's what's happening, guys. It's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Nobody told the caterpillar is about to turn into a ball of mush and melt and into a cocoon and not be able to walk, not be able to talk, feel trapped in a cocoon. Nobody said, hey, you about to be a butterfly. This is what this is what marriages are going through. And if we just had the way to move through this transition, which is what I share in Divorce Proof Club, because some people stay in that transition for a long time, like 10 years. They say we stayed together. That's those married couples say, yeah, we're together. It's like a smile, like we're together, we're still together. But it's hard. They're struggling. It's a mini death. It's a mini death. And, it caused you to have to release control. You have to set new expectations. You have to release attachment. It's a lot to do, and you don't have no guide. I know because I did it. Fortunately for me, see, this started happening to me about year 5. At year 12, we opened our relationship. But we, how can I say this? There was a slight awareness of this. And that's why I was open to poly. Because I was like, I can't do this. Like, I want to be with you. I love you. But like, I need more than this. This is not doing nothing with my hormones. I'm starting to look old. Like, I look younger now than I looked at that time, like 30. Yeah, I was shriveling up, Lack of orgasm is hard on women. But it's more than lack of orgasm. It was the lack of magnetism, lack of attention. Like, it didn't feel like my body was calling him. Like, you need to feel that in order to have your chi and in order to have your life force going. Men too. Okay? So this transition requires those things. So when my couples come to me for Divorce Proof Club, we do that. We do the work to release control. Also, you need up level to be able to hold space for each other during those times. And you got to rearrange your marriage. You need a new contract. That's what I do with my couples. We look at where you're coming from and we heal that. We celebrate it. Now it's time for a new type of marriage. That's it. Like, what this relationship provides, it's no longer going to provide that. Let's see what it can provide next. And I really urge my couples not to panic, right? And to accept support and to normalize the emotions and the grief. I felt grief. Because I felt like I was lied to by somebody. I didn't know if the Bible or society or my parents or what. Like, this is not what I expected. And to release control, that was so hard. Because when you're monogamous, I own my husband. He owned me. Yeah, I can ask him where the fuck he's going. Yeah, I can ask him what the fuck he's doing. He's mine. He's the only source that I have to get love and affection and attention and sexuality. You're mine. Where are you going? Right? I didn't want to let that go. But I found that in order to move from being in love to unconditional love, I would have to. And that took time. Any questions before I go on? I'm at the transition. Now we're about to talk about how does unconditional love feel? Because for me, it feels better than being in love. Honestly, it feels much safer than being in. When I was in love, I'm always worried. Where's the person going to go? Are they going to abandon me? What? Are they going to give me everything I need? I'm starving. I'm always anxious. Being in love was more of like an anxiety. Do you understand? Like, do you understand? Unconditional love, I do not feel that way. I feel totally stable, totally safe. So it's not like, making this transition is going to somewhere boring. Like, it's whack. I want to be in love. Some people are addicted to the in love feeling, and I get that. But when you're building a community, you're transitioning people all the time. You can still go be in love, especially if you're poly. Even if you're not poly, you can still go be in love. People are in love with their work wife, their work husband. You don't have to touch them. You can be in love with a painting. You can be in love with a tree. You can be in love with flowers. You can be in love. But I'm saying it's mandatory if you like that feeling that you have. What we're trying to do is squeeze it out of our partner who's not there anymore with us. And if they won't squeeze you some of that juice that you think came from them, but it's really just your hormones. You think they gave it to you. So, when you stop squeezing, when you stop panicking, when you say, you know what, this is our transition. We're moving to unconditional love. We're going to go to Kenya K. Stevens. We're going to go to Divorce Proof Club. We're going to get these tools. We're going to change our agreements. It's time. I want to be with you forever. I want to be with you forever. And I want our relationship to work. So we have to make this transition. I remember the time when my husband said, well, I want a separate bedroom. I was crushed. And then I remember the time when we decided, look, we don't need to make love. Let's take a year off. Let's take a year off of duty and obligation. These were hard things to do, but they led to what I'm going to tell you about now, the unconditional love. Unconditional love, y'all. Like, y'all gonna make me cry. I'm going to cry. I couldn't believe how much better it felt. It's rooted in acceptance. I mean, when I got there, I didn't even believe I was there. Like, my husband accepts me for exactly who I am and what I want to do. He didn't accept me like that when we were in love. Then, there's no more of this projection. So you're accepting reality instead of projecting what you want this man to be. Oh my God, that freed up so much of my mental space. I got so creative. That's how I built these businesses. I got so creative when I wasn't trying to control the narrative, trying to desperately get what I need from this one man who was not in love with me anymore. And I was slow to admit that I was not in love with him anymore. I've seen that finger pointing game go on. Well, you're the one who fell out of love with me. Well, you don't love me anymore. But you feel the same way. You don't love them like that anymore. It's a different feeling that we don't have language for. You're not in love anymore. And that's good. So unconditional love has this acceptance, just this acceptance. It just feels so good. I don't like now, 10 years into unconditional love with my oldest husband. As I told you, he can go wherever he wants. He can do whatever he wants to do. I don't care. I don't mind. And he can come right back here and baby, I love you. And I have that same privilege. Unconditional love does not require that possessiveness or that sameness. Like if I'm going out, we need to go out together. If I'm going on vacation, you have to come on vacation with me. We're married. Like you need to be doing this with me. It's like, no, I do my thing. You do your thing. We building a community. And the arguments and the fights, they're gone. Halfway because we use up level, but the other half is because there's no attachment. And this is a choice. So when we want to make love or when we want to kiss or hang out or be romantic, it's a choice. It's not coming from being impelled. It's not coming from being hormonally drawn. It's intentional. It's conscious. We set the date, we decide what we're going to do. It's beautiful. And then it's not based on what you get. It's not based on what you get. So it's a lot less. A lot of men complain about the neediness of women. But we say that men are just as needy, But at unconditional love, that neediness is gone. I got needs. He got needs. But we both know that it's not necessarily our job to have to feel the other person's needs. Go get your needs met. Go to Jamaica for a few weeks. Go to Paris. Get a boyfriend. What you doing? And then a lot of people tell me, well, Kenya, you're just in it with your husband for business and y'all are just friends. Yes. What are you talking about? Y'all not in love? No, we're not. 30 years later? No. We successfully made the transition to unconditional love. And so that's why I say I work with couples married 10 years or more. Because if you just been married a year, you might still be in honeymoon. You don't want to hear what Kenya K got to say. I support couples who don't want to throw away their entire life just because they don't understand a hormonal process. and how to do the ceremony to get to the other side. Any questions? Somebody says, I love building our business, raising our children, laughter, and co-creating, but I no longer have the desire to be physically intimate. We've been married for 15 years. Boom. And if he understands that, y'all are good. A lot of couples come to me and they're both not accepting that because it's hard and they haven't defined what's next. And they don't have a guide. They don't have other couples who's talking about it. Usually couples don't talk about this. It's embarrassing because you think you're failing and you're not. You're succeeding big time when you can make that leap. So I'm glad you shared that, Yaz Miracle. How are things now? You all are welcome in the club. Everybody who wants to do this, I'm telling you, when you do this, now you're lifelong. See, people worry about divorce. I don't want to get a divorce. I may not want to get married. If you have all the tools you need to go through all the phases, now you got a strong partnership and community. Yeah, Yaz Miracle said it's bruising her husband's ego. And that's typical because they don't know the other men who are going through it. They don't have anybody to talk to about it. There's no way you all don't have like the plan of how to move through it. And what's on the other side? Are y'all poly? Because I find that couples, when they become poly during that transition, they're going to break up. Because if you're still in the transition, you really think, I don't love them anymore. You think, I just must not love them anymore. It's not until a couple gets to the unconditional love phase that I advise poly. That's why I don't really be coaching to 20-somethings about polyamory. They could be solo poly. That's just called being single. Every single person is solo poly. I coach couples who want to be together for life and want to get over to unconditional love and have, whether they want poly or exclusivity, but get there. Some people need to get there first and then decide. Somebody said, think about it like a wave further out in the ocean. Yep, the further out you go, the wider the waves are. Yep, that's exactly it. When you first meet, the wave is, it's intense, like at the shore, it's rough. But if you take that boat out there, those waves are more, I love that analogy. So somebody said the plan is to sign up for my club. Good. And be of service to the collective community. Oh, yes, please do. And you know, my club is sliding scale. Some people think, well, I probably can't afford the club. Yes, you can. I put everybody in the club. I am a person who wants everybody to have this. Yes, there's a price, but if somebody can't afford the price or needs to have a payment plan or needs to do barter, I do that all the time. So please sign up for your Divorce Proof Club interview. I also take Klarna Afterpay, but this is where those people come together to do this work. Okay. So now that you guys understand everything, I hope that you will each one teach one. This is a sacred shift in a relationship. It's what makes us most human. And it's what helps us to build community if we can get through it. Okay. My husband was so happy when my younger husband, Tiger, moved in. Because he's like, my husband's 55 years old. Tiger's 40. So they have a 15-year age difference. Tiger's doing stuff, picking up the garbage, taking stuff out, helping me with stuff, keeping me busy so I won't be messing with him. Messing with my other husband. And he's cool with that because we're unconditional. All right. The key is long-term sustainability, generational wealth. Okay. Divorce proofing. This is where it happens. We help move couples to unconditional love. I thank you guys for listening tonight. Is there anybody who wants to jump on and talk to me or tell me anything or ask me anything before I go? I love meeting with you guys. I usually start to go live like this right when I'm about to kick off my club. This is sort of like a launch. So I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with a new topic. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this supported you. Ciao. Bye.